Well, Penn State finally took it to Michigan. It's been after 9 years,
time, yeah.
and basically almost a full half of football too. They made me nervous for a while. I'm like, I was watching the first half, but as I'm watching this game, and Michigan is scoring points, and Penn State has turnovers. I'm not doing it on offense. I kept thinking, just guys, take a breath, Penn State. It just seemed like they were trying to do too much. Did you get that sense that same feeling at the beginning of this game? That maybe Penn State was trying too hard to score points?
Josh Gaines, who's a senior defensive end for Penn State, who is one of the go-to guys in the interview room, a sharp, talkative guy, said, "We didn't just want to win. We wanted to kill them." And I think that's what it was about. I think they were so keyed up. First offensive snap of the game, A.Q. Shipley, who's a senior, a veteran, solid guy, out of the shotgun, snaps it 10 yards over Darryl Clark's head, and they run over to the sidelines, and Shipley says, "Hey, I just had a little bit of adrenaline there." And Clark says, yeah, you think? No kidding. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing it was. I think you're exactly right. I think it was there was no letdown. It wasn't that they weren't taking Michigan lightly. It was that they weren't taking them lightly enough. They were so keyed up, and we've got to avenge this 9 years of futility, not only for us, but for our fans and the alumni and all this stuff. It was just a little too much. But once they settled down, 39 unanswered points. Yeah. Not bad.
Chipping away at it, who impressed you? I say chipping away. I'll think of the Evan Royster play early on. They were up there down 10-0, and he just sort of he kept his feet moving and kept to score that long touchdown. Who impressed you in this game? I'm going to jump out and say Royster impressed me.
Royster did, and Royster is an excellent inside runner. He's not a huge guy, not a bruising type, but he's an excellent inside runner. It's interesting. He said after the game on that touchdown run where he made the spin move, he actually wanted to hit a hole, and then he doesn't know why, but he just kind of reacted the wrong way, went to the wrong hole, and then spun, and then just turn your legs, go. And he was very impressive. I thought as the game wore on, their defense played much better. Jared Odrick, the kid from Lebanon, had that great safety and so forth. So, I mean, it was another solid. We're talking about what went wrong, and here's a game they beat Michigan by 30 points.
I think the schedule has been great for them this year, Mike. Every game has sort of led up to the next biggest game.
You're right. It has played out the right way.
They're not going to look ahead and overestimate Ohio State, but I think they won't be as nervous now. A.J. Shipley, the center, AQ. What's his AQ. I don't understand that, but Shipley will not be snapping balls over center. He's got that sort of out of his system now after the Michigan game, hopefully.
That's a good theory. I hope you're right.
Looking ahead now for Ohio State, what are some of the keys to Penn State beating the Buckeyes, which we'd all like to see as Penn State fans?
Well, we last week Michigan ran a lot of the spread option type offense that Rich Rodriguez, the former West Virginia coach, likes so much, and they did it with a fairly immobile quarterback. The quarterback they're going to be facing this week is
Terrell Pryor,
the opposite of immobile. I mean, he's a great athlete. But I don't think he is, at this point, a consistently effective quarterback. He is the kind of guy who can make game-changing plays. Right. So I think you have to just kind of rein him in. I think you have to just not go nuts with trying to don't oversell the idea of trying to stop him, but just kind of rein him in and keep him from going crazy.
As much as I think the defense is going to be gearing up to him, I made the point to you a few moments ago that I think their senior quarterback who started for Ohio State last year, Beckman, will see some snaps this game, just to throw Penn State off. Give him a couple series, couple packages out there.
It makes sense.
Could you see that possibly happening?
It
just
makes
a twist.
Somebody asked Joe about that in the press conference today, and he said you could tell that he didn't think there was any way that was going to happen. But I think there's a possibility that could happen. And he remember how he played against Penn State last year. He played terrific against Penn State last year. And also last year, Ohio State beat Penn State up physically last year, pushed them around. Mm-hmm. And I even asked Joe about that in the press conference the week after the game, and he even was kind of saying things to the effect of, we may have to rethink our recruiting a little bit, and we have to rethink our to get away from speed and maybe get bigger and stronger so we can utilize our speed. I don't know that they've gotten bigger and stronger, but I don't know that there's anybody in the country who's doing a better job of utilizing their speed.
I think they're faster.
I mean, they have great speed. They've got to have the best overall speed in the Big Ten. So it'll. I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting aspects to this game. I think there's some chess match stuff going on, in addition to the fact that there's a lot of terrific football players on the field.
Biggest chess matches you're sort of anticipating? Can you give us one of the examples?
Well, I think what Penn State's going to do with Pryor.
Okay.
And last week they when they had trouble with Michigan, they changed linebackers. They played a kid named Mike Maudie, who was a redshirt freshman, who was very effective. They changed their splits a little bit up front. And that seemed to be effective. Obviously, they defended much better in the second half. So you may see them tinker around with formation and do some things a little different than what their base defense has been all year.
Interesting with Pryor. He was almost a final recruit for Penn State. They were trying to get him. He was narrowed it down to Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, and then it was Ohio State and Penn State. He wouldn't even be starting for Penn State. Yes, he's starting for Ohio State.
No way. How unhappy would he be right now if he was at Penn State?
He'd be playing wide receiver or running back for him somehow. Or I don't know what he'd play. Defensive back.
This is a really big game in terms of the national picture, in terms of the Big Ten championship. This is the biggest game, unless Penn State goes on and plays for the national championship. Unless that happens, this is the biggest game Penn State will play this year, in my view. Even this to me is a bigger game than even if they would go to the Rose Bowl, because this is a BCS elimination game for them.
Oh yeah, because Oklahoma right behind them, and you look at the BCS numbers are really close. They beat number 9 Ohio State. They're going to be in fine shape for the rest of the year. Now, one thing I want to say, I think after every game has led up to the biggest game so far this year. If you look back on this season, even their non-league schedule, Illinois leads into Purdue, leads into Wisconsin. It's been a great series for them.
I know what you're saying.
If you get past this game, Mike, I think it's smooth sailing until they get to a championship.
Well, it's smooth sailing. I think Iowa on the road. Iowa has played really well the last couple of weeks, and I think they're very, very well coached. I think that guy's one of the best coaches in the country. They have a great running back and a good defense. So that's a tough game on the road. Possibly Michigan State at the end of the season, although certainly they didn't. They had a chance to step up on the big stage last week and utterly failed to do so against Ohio State. But you're right. On paper, the schedule gets easier after Ohio State.
After this game. Well, we're looking forward to it. As you can tell, we're really excited for this game. So tune in, see if we're right or not.